name's Chris.
Alright, never mind.
So my name's Chris Hawley. YouTube channel College Talk TV, and today I'm going to be talking about human rights versus religious fundamentalism. If there's any spelling errors in this, I apologize because I had a busy week and so late last minute. But that's not good. You know, I don't want to be a bad role model or anything like that. So yeah. So let's begin the presentation. What's on the next slide? So what are human rights? Human rights are basically things that it's basically like saying you should be treated equally with other people. It's things like, you know, right to you know, speech, right to you know, be able to live without being a threat or anything like that. Things like that. They're, what's that word I'm looking for? Inalienable, because we're not aliens, we're people. And you're entitled to them because you're a human being, unless you're Donald Trump and you're like an orangutan. Just kidding. He's going to probably sue me anyway. That's inappropriate. So here are various human rights issues that I will probably talk about in this PowerPoint presentation. You have, well, and first of all, let me say that I'm probably mainly talking about Islam and Christianity because those are the religions that have the most effect on my life as an American citizen. Mainly Christianity, but Islam also has a effect on my being and the issues related to them. Separation of church and state, women's rights, freedom of expression, terrorism, religious warfare, gay rights. Is there like a clicker or some shit around here? Nope. You guys go to the library, understand. So what do you guys think of when you hear religious fundamentalism? Start talking.
I think about those crazy preachers that come every semester.
Every semester. They're just trying to spread the love of Jesus.
They're coming weekly now, pretty much.
Yeah. There was one this morning. Anyone saw him on his bicycle?
Oh, he was tired, and he had a little tiny plastic megaphone, and I'm like, you couldn't afford a real one?
I liked his bicycle trailer.
Are they like the same
That
people
was
as
like
the
he
usual
woke
ones
up
that
and
like?
was like, yeah, I'm going to preach about Jesus today.
Yep. And then there's the guy that's a few days ago.
Praise Jesus.
Hallelujah.
I couldn't even hear him.
Hallelujah.
The guys with the sales reviews on
I feel like religious fundamentalism is basically not having access to a lot of information outside of religion. So it's like, you think about like kids from small towns who only know God and God explains everything, and it's like, no.
Or choosing to ignore it. Of outside information.
Yeah.
Well, that's the devil talking.
Yeah, he created Horus and all that.
Exactly. Those dinosaurs in the ground, the devil went out at night.
They just found.
The
They
devil's dinosaur? A Divolosaurus Rex?
Thanks, Satan, for giving us oil.
It's all part of the New World Order.
They find
to like turn us all into like atheist humans. Muslim atheists.
Muslim atheists.
Yeah, I think like 14 of them are Christian.
So any other thoughts on it? Okay. So this is what religious fundamentalism is. It's basically strict adherence to principles and dogmas of the religious text. Fundamentalism views religious adherence as being a set of rules and guidelines that cannot be challenged and should be imposed on others. And oftentimes, non-fundamentalist religious adherents, the fundamentalists aren't following the religion correctly. No true gospel fallacy.
I think that's funny because they would say the same about the non-fundamentalist people too.
Yeah.
Well, you're not following exactly what the Bible says, so you're not a true Christian.
Well, it's like the thing is, like, the fundamentalists, they will usually, you know, follow, strictly speaking, everything in the, you know, their holy text, like, you know, Judaism. Like, they don't, there was like this one clip on Religulous where Bill Maher went to a Orthodox Jewish science museum or something, and like they had like this telephone where they would indirectly press a number. It was just like batshit crazy, literally batshit crazy. Like, oh, we're indirectly pressing a number because we don't want to work on this day. It's like it's just so fucking stupid.
Yeah.
You know?
Keep holy the Sabbath.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, so,
The phone? Really? Can't push phone buttons?
or they had this one wheelchair where it was like, it's like, I don't know how it worked, but it's like you indirectly push something to make it move forward, and it's like you're using something else, and it's just like, dude, it's, if God made you a cripple, then, you know, maybe there's some exceptions to the rules, you know.
It works in mysterious ways, yes.
Yeah,
That sounds
for
like
sure.
Your legs are already in heaven.
You'll have legs in heaven, my son.
So, a lot of the causes of fundamentalism is brainwashing at an early age, lack of education or social-economic issues, no separation of church and state, and lack of independent study and exposure to different schools of thought. So, I would say that most people who are extremely religious start off being extremely religious when they're younger. You know, like most people who are my age, or you know, they're like a rational adult, are not going to say, "Oh, well, someone told me that Emperor Xenu came down here and you know volcanoes filled up with human blah 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 exploded, and then that's how we came here or whatever." It's, you know, an adult's not going to believe that unless they were brainwashed at an early age. The same go with Christianity. You know, like people walking on water, people living in whales, things like that are not things that a normal functioning human being will believe when they're adult, unless they're traumatized at an early age to believe it. So. And any thoughts? I mean, you guys can like ask questions or talk or something. It's not just I only have a presentation all the time. It makes you awkward. Like,
This one is kind of like a question for you. I remember you mentioning in like past presentations that you used to be very religious. What kind of was like the switch that said, "Oh, I do have to follow this religion"? Like, what was your brainwashing switch?
when I was in the juvenile detention facility, I think when I was in like 8th grade, and stop laughing, man. That's not funny. That's my sister right there. And you know, I went on a Friday and I came out on Monday, and like they had the Christian come in and basically talk about hell and shit like that, and it sort of traumatized me knowing that if I don't believe in this guy in the clouds, that I'm gonna burn forever. But then, like, I don't know, I wasn't that stupid to like continue to believe indefinitely. You got a hand up?
Me?
Oh, you just
Oh.
hey,
I don't know.
I mean, you did this right here. I'm like, oh, hey, right here.
I was kind of thinking some earlier. I'm a little off track. Give me a second. I was gonna bring up how some people isn't always at an early age. Usually people that are brought into it that'll become kind of fundamentalists, or people who are really, I guess, like sinful, that were brought in, like drug addicts, and through programs that like kind
Social
of
and economic.
things that like cleanse you through religion. Going through those programs is like more brainwashing as well, though. But like, if you're coming from that and you realize that you want to like leave that, it kind of attaches to your identity, and also like along with the like fundamentals that brought you out of addiction, they add on top of that other stuff that isn't quite so good.
You know, I see a lot of addicts who like are recovering addicts or whatever, and they'll say, well, it's because of the grace of God that I no longer smoke crack. And it's like, dude, you know, where was God at when you were putting the pipe in your mouth in the first place? It's like, you know, it's, I don't know. But, I mean, it's like they don't want to give themselves credit for what they might have achieved in that sort of, I don't know.
Which is why it's terrible when we have to like force people to go to religious things.
Oh yeah, it's like
AA.
that happens all the time. You know, they force them to go to like an AA meeting, and like that's a religious meeting. You know, that's unconstitutional. And I also say like, you know, a lot of people want to say that, oh, you know, like the wars in the Middle East and stuff like that. Yes, there's like always like religious undertones, but you know, it's a lot of poverty, lack of resources and opportunity, and the religion sort of like plays on people's like their issues that they're facing in those countries, and I think that plays a larger role than the religion. The religion just adds fuel to the fire.
I think you're right there. I think that a lot of the problem in the Middle East isn't so much religion as it is cultural relativism.
Yeah.
Like the fact that they think that their way of life is better than others, so therefore you should come see how good it is on this side, and if not, well then you're not worth having here. You know, and a big part of that is religion, though. Like, You know,
It's all intertwined.
same as here, you know, like, culture is, you know, is a stack of things, and religion's in that stack. You know, so I agree with you 100%, like, I don't like nationalism, I don't like America. I mean, I love America, don't get me wrong.
Well,
Do I think it's better than anywhere else? I don't fucking know, never been
Jesus
there.
gave us the Constitution, so.
Jesus did?
Yeah.
Shit, man.
I think he wrote
How
the
did he
Bible
hold
in
it?
English in Texas
Like,
too.
the holes in it, you know? I don't understand.
Fucked up.
Did he also put the map on the back of the Declaration of Independence?
The one to the national treasure?
Yeah.
Wait, that's how
Yeah.
Nicolas Cage would do
Did
that.
he make those awesome glasses?
I have a question for anyone who knows, is AA government sponsored?
Yes.
Or, okay, I wasn't sure.
There are oftentimes when you go into like, when you're like sentenced with rehab and you have to go, they'll force you to go to AA specifically.
Okay. I didn't know if it was.
They don't actually, this is the way it goes, because I've been there.
Okay.
You get caught with something, you go to court, they send you to Quest, which is state funded. Once you're at Quest, whoever your worker is, whoever is assessing you, will decide whether or not you need to attend AA meetings. So AA is not actually a government agency, it's actually a Christian agency, but because of the results that it's gotten, it has been kind of like what you said, they kind of get sentenced to it, but it's more,
The go-to.
like, I was at Quest, I never really had a problem with alcohol, I'm more of a stoner, so, I didn't have to go to AA meetings, but I also was honest about it, like, he was like, when was the last time you smoked? I was like, oh,
Yeah.
6 hours
Well,
ago.
you know, like marijuana leads to like all sorts of like bad things, like armed robbery.
Alcohol leads to a
And,
lot worse
Well, I
things.
mean, marijuana is worse than alcohol.
You could overdose.
That's what they said on Reefer Madness, remember?
Yeah, well, yeah, Reefer Madness was great, he smoked that,
Dude, my uncle's like I think he's like in his like mid-50s, and he saw that in school, and they were even like, this is like complete bullshit.
yeah,
It's just like,
But if someone who's dry, you had to do a simulation, and when this is under the influence of marijuana, and they actually like crashed him on purpose because he was doing fine. They said it really wasn't him. I think it was through some Christian organization.
well, on Grand Theft Auto, you can like drive around drunk and stuff, and I get to where I need to go. I'm just kidding. But now back to the presentation. Christian fundamentalism. So Christianity, in case you guys don't know what Christianity is, because you come from another planet, there's three main divisions. It's Catholicism, Orthodox, and Protestant, and then there's like all the like little under branches underneath them. Emphasis on single moral issues, beliefs and practice varies amongst various religious sects, and you know their like height of their like fucked upness was like in Europe during I want to say like the 15th, 16th-ish century when there was like
the Inquisition.
yeah, like that, and then
The Protestant Reformation.
yeah, that's it right there, Reformation.
History major to the rescue.
Yeah,
I
and
think the Reformation. So.
I was gonna brag about the Reformation in 7th grade project.
yeah, but like basically the Catholics and the Protestants, they're sort of like how the Sunnis and Shia are somewhat. So
Not anymore.
not anymore.
It was a lot more. I mean, don't get me wrong, Catholic, I grew up Catholic, and Catholics still have this weird, like, they don't even like people from other Catholic churches, like, it's weird, like, it's really odd, they're just like, you know, they're cordial with everybody, but they don't, like, actually interact, like St. Joe's has a festival, and yeah, people come from other places and go there, and then, like, St. Mike's has a festival, but, like, it's not, like, cooperative. Like, they're making the money for their church. They're not gonna, St. Mike's money doesn't go to St. Joe's. You know, it's really odd. Pope, wealthiest private landowner.
Bro, they got money. Like, motherfucker living in a castle, bro. They're like a castle city, bro. Like,
Yeah,
you can't even build, like, bro, you can't even build that shit on Minecraft. It's so fucking big.
yeah.
But yeah, and then like Islamic fundamentalism. I'm sorry. Yeah, we're not allowed to show Muhammad on like, you know, TV or anything.
No images.
Yeah, that's how they roll. But I'm just kidding. That's fucked up. It was sort of not real, but well, it is that they do it. But they're guided by this guy named Muhammad. He is
Warmongering pedophile?
yeah, I'm gonna get to that later. So like Islam is basically, Muhammad is the last prophet of because like there's prophets from Christianity that are also in Islam, like Abraham, Moses, all the other characters in the Bible, but he's like the last prophet, and he was pretty much a warlord that conquered the Arabian Peninsula. I'll also get into that in a couple more slides, but the two main sects are Sunni and Shia, and depending on the pronunciation, that's the different ways it's spelled, and they're mostly in Iran and Iraq. And Sharia law is basically their religious law. You hear a lot of the Republicans talking about, we want to ban Sharia law in Oklahoma, so things like that. But in America, they want to have Christian law. And so there's also a lot of religious warfare that can sort of lead to human rights violations. Sometimes religion will cause a conflict, other times it will make it even worse. Like, like in Iraq, for instance, it's basically Sunnis were in the, that's what Saddam was. And the Shia, they are the majority in the West, and then the Kurds are in the North. And the problem was that once Saddam was out of power, the Shias gained power, and it's like the sectarianism in that country is sort of like causing the issues between the different regions to become a lot worse. And a lot of the fundamentalists, they believe that dying in conflict as being one of the ultimate sacrifices of one's faith. I remember in church at the chapel over there, they used to say things like, this one person was killed because they were like saying, well, you're going to convert to Islam or some shit like that, and all they had to say was like, I don't believe in Jesus no more, I'm a Muslim, and they would let them go. They're like, no, that's how strong their faith was, and they basically got their heads chopped off. Like, that's pretty fucking stupid, bro. Just think about that. Like,
I'd say I was a Christian if I had it in my head.
just do this, bro. Do this.
Do this.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean that much to me.
If they told me
Jesus
like,
was
oh,
awesome.
you're gonna die or be a Christian, I'm gonna be like, well,
I'm like,
Jesus can only eat
I'll be like,
Jesus.
Jesus being a dick for right now, bro. Like, fuck that.
Is dying in, does it, like, that phrase, dying in conflict, is that to clarify how, like, taking life by one's hand is, like, a sin? Like, don't you go to hell if you can kill yourself?
Well, it's like, if you die in like a conflict for your religion, you're considered a martyr.
Okay, so for your religion, not just dying in conflict.
Right.
Okay.
Dude, this presentation was put together. Okay?
No, I just wanted,
It's okay.
as someone who didn't grow up, like, being so, like, having Christianity or, like, also, I didn't have that ingrained to me. Like, I practiced it for the short amount of time that I wanted to study it, but I never had it, like, ingrained. So it's like, I don't have as much of an attachment to, like, all the verses and all the rules of it as, like, everybody else does. But, like, all I know is, I'm pretty sure people have to, like, yelled at me, if you kill yourself, you're going to hell.
Yeah.
Christianity to me was like sugar and Kool-Aid. It's like, that's how intertwined it was in my everyday.
Yep.
It eventually probably killed me because of
It's deep. When you grew up in a church and that's what you grew up in, the depth of the way you feel about it is really weird. Like, to this day, I don't believe in any of this shit. Like, yeah, it could be, sure. There could be purple dragons for all I fucking know. I don't know. I've never been everywhere. But I don't believe in it. However, there are certain times when I hear people say things that were considered blasphemous to my beliefs then, and it still affects me because of the amount of brainwashing and the amount of, like, this is bad that I got. And I see it in my sister. And I keep trying to tell her, like, you're just as much of an atheist as I am. You don't believe in this, you don't believe in this, you don't believe in this, and you don't believe in this. She's like, I do. But that's not what it means. I was like, you keep turning it around to fit the way you feel because you're a good person. You recognize the fucking horseshit that you're reading. That's what it is that that's what you're doing. Leave me alone. Okay. But like it is like that. It is like it's more important to people than their children.
Well, you know, like my like this is one of my sisters, but like they went to a Catholic school before coming to early college or whatever. But like I remember she showed me one of her homework assignments, and like it was, so who did someone pray to get rid of Parkinson's disease? Pope John
There's
Paul
a saint
II.
for everything.
Right. That was right. That was the right answer. Pope John Paul II. Swear to God.
Parkinson's disease?
She's like,
Pope John Paul was
yeah,
the
that's what you
patron
gotta pray
saint of
to.
Parkinson's.
I guess I wonder who I have to pray to for my grandpa to get rid of his dementia. Like,
Oh no.
Apparently you're praying to the wrong one, because I bet it didn't come back.
Yeah. He can't remember either, don't worry. Sorry.
but it's just like, I mean, it's like that's how brainwashed they are. They literally believe that, you know, praying to or talking to yourself is one of like, yeah, no more Parkinson's disease for that person. Or like Hindus, it's like this one dirty ass river that's like 1,000 times over the World Health Organization's like thing for bathing water, but they still go in the water because it's religious to them. What was it?
The Ganges.
Ganges, that's it. I know it's. But like, they jump in that water, it's dead bodies, feces, industrial waste. Fuck, put their head in and everything, bro. Like, bro, that's nasty as fuck, bro. Get out there, big fella. You know what I'm saying? Fucking trifling, big fella. What you doing in there, big fella? But nah, but like, you know, Christian sectarianism, I know I spoke about this in previous episode, mainly between Catholicism and Protestantism. Did I say that right? Yeah, I think so. And the height of their conflict was 16th, 17th centuries. You see like a lot of the British people, the French people, the Germans, you know, they were like fighting in various wars because, you know, one wanted to be Catholics, the other ones wanted to be Protestants, or it's like something with like Calvinism, all these different sets of, you know, fairy tales fighting, and you couldn't really come to a conclusion on what kind of myths they wanted to believe in, so they had to, you know, kill each other, and it was pretty bad. Millions of people died. That's religion for you. And here's Islam. This is actually a better map of you know, like Islamic conquest. So basically, Muhammad, he started off over here in, it wasn't Medina, I think it was Medina, but he conquered Mecca, and then because it was like, his soldiers, there's one story where his soldiers like ran in battle and he basically promised virgins afterwards. Is that true? Because I heard that's true. That's how he came up with the virgins. He promised his soldiers virgins in heaven, and so they wouldn't run away in battle.
Probably that.
I mean, promise and pussy in that. But anywho, so he started off around this area, and then like once he died, the people after him, because this is basically like an empire, and you know, they conquered all this stuff over here, and then the Mongols sort of fucked them up for a little bit, and then also over here, they actually got all the way over here, through here. And they were turned back at this battle over here in the Kingdom of France. And then they reconquered Spain. Because like Islam, you know, a lot of people say it's a religion of peace, but it's like peace isn't, you know, if you're conducting warfare for expansion, that's not really peaceful.
Well, it started that way because in the regions between the Byzantine and Persian empires, like it was so spread out that there wasn't a set form of government, so it was basically like an anarchy, and it was like every man for himself sort of thing. So like that's why it's all kind of founded, I guess, on conquest, but it was more like consolidating or trying to consolidate all the powers. And since there was like literally nothing in that region you could do to survive other than like steal, they'd have
Warfare.
they'd raid caravans as long as the caravans weren't Muslim caravans. It's really interesting.
Yeah, he started building the religion by starting with family and then bringing more people into the religion. And they said, if you are Muslim, then you are now family,
And then
even if not by blood.
then
And then everybody's doing caravans, but eventually all the caravans are now Muslim. So if you make your living raiding caravans, but you can't raid caravans anymore, you gotta move out, and that's why they started.
And they also promised bridges to like the specific groups that would just go around and raid things for a living. Like as long as you go tell people to be Muslim, like it's fine.
You're good to go.
And it's really easy to conquer the areas because the Byzantine and the Persian
Muslims were in such like conflict with each other that the people.
They were in decline too, right?
Huh?
Like, I know like the Byzantine, well, weren't they conquered with the Ottomans, right? Correct?
The Ottomans eventually conquered the Byzantines, yeah.
Like constantly.
But yeah, they were in so much like warfare with each other that the people within the Byzantine Empire and the people within the Persian Empire like were getting shit on basically because they were constantly at war. So they really easily converted and tried like take over so much easier.
And they promised virgins too.
They probably didn't even know about that much though. They're just like, you're not gonna charge me
That's a good
money,
sales
I'll
pitch.
give
That's a
you
good
that."
sales pitch, you know?
Okay.
I mean, they're in the desert game, hey, you know, so ain't shit to do other than like fucking, I don't know, sit around and shit.
It's like seeing mirages.
Huh?
It's like seeing mirages.
Yeah. And then, well, there's a lot of sectarian conflict in the Middle East also, or, yeah, the Middle East. And this is just like a map describing, you know, like the percentage, so the map is percentage of Shia, which are the minority, and because it's a little easier to like, determine that. But a lot of the problems in the Middle East are sort of amplified due to the fact that the Shias and the Sunnis are in like a war with each other. So like Iran, however you want to say it, and Saudi Arabia, those are like the competing like powers in that region. Iran is Shia, Saudi Arabia is Sunni, and they'll have like proxy wars. Let's say like in Syria, where they might back one rebel group that's Shia, and then Saudi Arabia will back Sunnis, which is pretty much ISIS or whatever, and you know they'll be in warfare with each other. And but the difference basically is like the Shias, they believe that Muhammad's it was his son-in-law, no, Ali, the cousin and son-in-law. Wait, is that? Well, he actually married his cousin then.
Yeah.
Wait, whoa!
Yeah, people got
Wait,
down
hold
hard
on.
back then.
Wait, oh wow.
He
Yeah.
married his cousin and she was like widowed and like old and stuff. And like
But that's
they
a
never
that's a kin right there, bro.
they never met because of
All those things are 10 now.
it's weird.
Yeah. So they were really family.
Yeah, but then like you know, and then the Sunnis, they believe that like I think it was like one of his top generals should be chosen as the successor.
Yeah, it was whether or not it should be by family or by religiosity of the next person to be the
Not
next.
necessarily religiosity, just general leadership.
No, it
He
was
literally
it was,
appointed his brother-in-law,
because he
who
was
the second in command leadership-wise
but he
for
was
the
also
military.
one of the co-founders of the religion.
Yeah.
So it is a
So they
lot
make it
of
very religious.
religiosity rather than, because the caliph's supposed to be basically the pope.
Yeah.
So-
They're the religious
Battle
leader.
vote.
Did you just say battle pope?
Well, well, the Pope he used
That's
to be
fucking
like
awesome.
you know like the war consigliere or whatever, you know. What is that called? The consigliere?
Consigliere?
Whatever. Yeah, what he said. Because you know they launched the Crusades over here and stuff like that. It was like 7 or 8 of them. Wow.
It's all.
Man, what's some other fucked up shit? Oh, modern day religious terrorism. So most of the terrorism, I would say, like in terms of like bombings, like you know, like terrorist groups that you would traditionally think of, are usually like Islamic oriented. Now, back in the day, the Christians sort of like you know the body count for them was you know much higher because they're an older religion. But it seems right now that the Islamic religion is sort of at the spear front of being fucked up.
Christians got it out of their system already.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah, they're just 600 years behind the Christians. That's
Yeah.
all.
There's still a lot of Christians.
They got a lot of heads chopped
Yeah, it's
off
just
and
not
burned
legal.
throughout the states against
Yeah.
Nazi.
Oh yeah, that's right. Which is the kill.
It's not terrorism if you're the worship.
Yeah.
So,
A lot of penises to mutilate.
so, but in the United States,
Mutilated penises, Christian thing.
yeah, that is true. But you know, in the United States, you know, right-wing Christians are usually at the forefront of impeding on social progress, such as gay marriage, you know, abortion rights, teaching science in schools like you should, crazy things like evolution, they're usually against. And then there's also, but there's a lot of Christian versus Muslim conflict in various regions in Africa. Like the Central African Republic is in a state of civil war, and the two factions are basically there's like a religious. It's like they're ethnic groups, but they're oriented towards one religion. And the Muslim ethnic groups launched a coup d'état against the government, who was also sort of fucked up. And now they're doing retribution, and the Christians, they're forming like groups, and it's like they're fighting each other. And, I mean, there's stories of cannibalism, Muslims and Christians eating each other. It's just crazy shit like that, And but it's always like the religion, like it amplifies the situation. It makes it worse.
It definitely makes it easier on other people.
Yeah, it makes it easier. It's like, oh, this person's a Muslim, he's not a Christian.
How are you gonna get someone to die for you if you don't promise them something after death?
Exactly.
That's great.
I mean, there was like an atheist like conflict or something like that. I mean, no one would want to like going to the front line because it's like
be real hard to get
we
somebody on the
only
front line.
have like one life, They have like infinitesimal, I guess.
Yeah.
And this is a question. I just found like memes all over the fucking place. Insert. And so what are you guys' thoughts on religion's role in attacking people's freedom of expression, such as speech, like, the Charlie Hebdo attack? You have a lot of Christian groups going after, media, such as movies, music. It was like all that backfire against like Grand Theft Auto because you get to run over strippers, things like that. So what are you guys' thoughts on that?
It's funny that they try and take away people's freedom of expression but hide behind it when they bully atheists and other religious groups that aren't in the majority. They sit there and they use hateful things that aren't even founded in any kind of fact or anything, such as, soldiers are dead because God hates homosexuals. And it's their right to say things like that, but they want to take away other people's rights to say things against the way they believe. I think that it speaks volumes about the hypocrisy of, first of all, the people, and I also think that it kind of gives you a hint that maybe those people don't really believe. Maybe they think more like we do, but they're using it as their weapon.
Their platforms.
Right, like, hey, these are stupid people that believe this stuff.
Like Donald Trump said, he even said it, like, followers are stupid. Like, they're easily intimidated. He loves the uneducated. That's what he said.
Yeah.
Like, oh, they're fucking stupid.
Because you can tell them whatever you want. They're not going to look it up.
They don't have the listening skills to differentiate. Anyone else? Damn, it's like quiet as hell in here. I don't know.
I think hell would probably be pretty loud.
And now we want to talk about Christian.
Let's talk about how loud hell is. If we're all going to be there. I like the people in hell personally.
Women's rights. Both. So basically, the religions of Christianity and Islam, they view women as being subservient. I mean, these are just a couple verses. You just Google Christianity's views on women or Islam's views on women. And it's just like right there in front of you. Sexism blatantly. They say that a woman's testimony is worth less than a man's or whatever. And,
that's terrible.
Call
to witness from among your men 2 witnesses. If 2 witnesses be not found, then a man 2 women.
And then I do not permit a woman to teach or assume authority over a man. She must be quiet. That's in the Bible. So it's like it's just
And it's New Testament too. It's
That-
an Old Testament argument.
That is actually like repeated over and over and over in the New Testament. Pretty
I want
much
that
every.
bumper sticker. Just Timothy 2:12.
women be quiet.
Be awesome. They'd be like, wait, what side's he on?
But a lot of Christians, like, I've been attacked for pointing out this, these quotes in the Bible. And I mean, I remember this one Christian said that, you're just misinterpreting it. I'm like, bro, it's like literally like 2 + 2 = 4 right in your fucking face. And he's like, no, you're misinterpreting me. You're misreading. I'm like, no, I'm not, dude. Right there. You know, different, like almost every translation is the exact same thing. It's just blatant in your face. Also, the Bible is pro-rape. That's a very, very, you know, bad issue. This is some of the verses right here. You know, also in the Bible says that if a man rapes a woman, that you basically have to give the father like a certain amount of gold or silver or whatever, and you know, you have to marry her. So it's like condoning rape, things like that. There's also verses in the Bible where it calls for like genocide. Like there's different tribes in the Bible where God in the Bible would basically instruct his minions to go out and capture cities, kill all the men, and then take the women and children as sex slaves. And you know, it's very, very violent. Like, a lot of Christians want to say Islam's a religion of war and violence, but you know, Christians are fucked up too.
Well, Islam's based on Christianity, so.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, the Old Testament is like almost the fucking same. It's just different names. It's like the same exact show, but the characters' names are different. Like, oh, instead of it being
It's the generic brand.
like Tywin Lannister, it's like
It's like
Allash,
Pokemon.
you know, snack bar or something.
That's really what it is. Like, Judaism is Charmander. And then Christianity is Charmeleon. And then Charizard is Islam. It's
Well, that's
those
like-
three things.
I thought you were about to say like Christianity is Pokemon.
Do you like that?
And Islam is Digimon.
Well, Digimon sucks.
See, that's what we're saying. See, that's like, it's the same being, it's just different representations of the same thing.
Well, that's actually funny you mentioned Charizard because in the Quran, Muhammad actually flies to the clouds on a pony or like a unicorn or whatever. So
So he endorses women supreme.
Yeah.
the Quran is also pro-rape. Basically, same thing. You can, you take war captives. That's definitely a gross violation of human rights. In today's standard of, ethics or whatever, if you're conducting warfare, you're supposed to only engage with the military forces of who you're engaging. You're not supposed to, rape the civilians, kill the civilians, things like that. That's definitely against the Geneva Convention. But Donald Trump wants to rip it up. Total warfare. And also, women's testimony is worth half that of a man's. Actually, I think you need 4 women to say that, it's it's 4. Like you need 4 women to give testimony in cases of rape or something. Because Muhammad, there with like one of his wives, they said that she was like committing adultery or something like that, she was raped or whatever. And he didn't like that 3 women said that she was raped. So there was like a 4th person that came in and said something that and it was like the 4th person testimony verified the information. It's just so fucking like Stone Age, Flintstone, barbaric.
Agreed.
And also there's rampant child sex abuse. And yeah, that's sort of that's something you shouldn't. It was like I was like it's supposed to be a picture of Muhammad because in Islam, Muhammad married his 6-year-old. It was like a 6-year-old or whatever named Aisha, and he consummated the marriage when she was 9. So 6-year-old marriage consummated at 9, and it's a lot of jokes you can get in on child molester. Which
Did she live through it?
well, she actually lived for. I think she surpassed him. Like she was young as hell, anyways. So like when he died, it's like she was probably maybe in her teens, maybe or early 20s.
Yeah.
It's awful.
Yeah, I know it's fucked up. But also the Catholic Church, they're probably one of the largest criminal organizations in terms of child sex abuse on the planet. I mean, thousands of cases. The Catholic Church is.
Spotlight.
We're actually going to be watching that in a couple weeks.
For real.
Awesome. Great movie.
Spotlight.
And then in terms of from the Quran, in Yemen or whatever, a quarter of females in that country are married under the age of 15, and child marriage in the Islamic world is still very prevalent. due to the fact that they can actually justify it in, you know, their holy book. So, you know, when you govern your country by religion, you're going to have fucked up shit like that going on. Other issues affecting religion in terms of, you know, religion doing fucked up shit. Female genital mutilations, very prevalent. Honor killings, you see that where people like, you know, oh, my sister or cousin went outside and went to a club, so she dishonored my family and I chopped her head off. Yeah, there's some really funny logic in that one. Just don't get it.
Escalated really quickly.
And then also abortion rights. You know, you see a lot of Christians bombing abortion clinics, and most of the Middle East abortion's banned. So,
I don't know if anybody else has noticed all the chalk. It's all about pro-life and
oh my
abortion and everything
God.
that's everywhere.
Oh my God.
In front of Polsky, it says 81% of women who have abortions have mental health issues. Okay?
Where they pull that out?
But here, hold on. Is it the fact that they've had an abortion? I'd like to see the numbers on the gay community, because it's not accepted. So are you saying that because they have had an abortion, that's why they're mentally fucked up? Or is it because the stigma you've put on people that have abortions that has caused the mental issues? That's the question that I'd like to have that answered, because numbers by themselves, as we've shown multiple times in here, don't say shit. You can make numbers support anything you want.
And 89% of statistics are made up on the spot.
Hey, yesterday, no, Tuesday evening, I got in a shouting match with them because, like, we were walking back, me and my girlfriend and my sister, we were walking back to our car, and these people, I was like, hey, so why do you guys believe that, you know, you should dictate what other people do with their bodies? And like, well, you know, it's DNA, and the one girl was like, she was pissed. She was like, well, I'm a biology major, and I know about this stuff. And she was like screaming. I'm like, hey, bro, you know you talking to me? I'm talking like crazy, but I was engaging in this conversation with her.
Oh, you think
Wait,
you are?
so like this is like an actual, she was like an actual biology.
Screaming at me, and I was like, dude, like, why? But why are you dictating what other people doing their bodies?
How screaming, she was hissing.
And then we said like, also,
Yeah, she's like,
no, she was foaming at the mouth.
she was really mad.
Well, you feel froggy.
That's what it's trying to get us on.
Motherfucker, jump. Hello, what's good?
No, I was like,
Walk over, but you live back.
And I wasn't even like trying to be disrespectful for anything. I was like, look, most abortions performed in the first trimester, like 98%. The remaining are due to medical emergency in the second or third trimester. And then we brought up the issue of like stillborns, where a baby is born without a brain. And I'm like, well, why would a mother want to keep her baby that's a stillborn? And she was like, well, you can still feel that baby can still feel love. I'm like, bitch, it does not have a fucking brain. I'm like, oh my God, like you don't like.
Based on what?
Like, are you like? She must be like a freshman biology major to the single fucking class. Was like, how can you feel anything if you don't have a freaking brain? It's just like,
It's her soul.
Brains that are
It's her
alive
soul.
haven't even felt love. What makes
Oh
them
my
think that the
She
fetus
was,
will?
you didn't know this, she was so
she
mad.
was so funny. And I was like, hey, bro.
I was like, I
That's
think
what
she's
I forgot.
about to attack.
Yeah. That's insane.
You found the right one to talk to, Chris.
Yeah.
Well, it's kind of like something like kind of mad to just see them really mad.
I mean, I ain't scared of them, but like gay rights in the U.S. and abroad. So, you know, the gay people, they want to, you know, take away marriage for everyone. What was the argument? It's like you're destroying the sanctity of marriage or some bullshit like that. That was it.
That's one of many arguments that they
Oh
like
my
to put
God.
out. It says it's supposed to be between man and woman in the book, and the book has really, you know, right here.
Well, the
I
Bible
love
is
the
like one
marriages
man
that
like a
predate the Bible. Those are my favorites. The marriages that happened before the Bible was a thing. It's like, oh, really?
Well, the world starts in Genesis.
Oh, that's right, I forgot.
6,000 years old. Well, possibly 10,000.
Depends how many years.
Because there's trees
So
and
there's
there's
like
cretaceous.
one guy's like
Whatever,
600 years old, so that's plus that, and another guy's like 500 years old plus that. So yeah, we got about 9,800.
I studied the Bible, not math, okay?
But not
I
like
don't need math. God will tell me what it is.
So another contention when it comes to human rights is you know, attacking gay people and homosexuality. in many parts of, the United States just legalized gay marriage, but throughout the world, gay people are still persecuted, and they usually use religious argumentation to go against people who are gay.
It's the only argument.
Yeah, I mean, it's like
It's the only argument they got, so they gotta hold on to it with both hands.
There's no logical reason to say that two consenting adults who want to be together can be married and have all the legal rights as anyone else. It's like, I don't get how that's affecting me whatsoever. Like gay marriage has been legalized. I don't think there's been an impact on my life. Like, it's just.
How many other like first world countries have gay rights legalized
I would
nationally?
say most of it.
Northern Europe is pretty all,
Okay,
like, they're actually, Northern Europe is like 10% theist.
okay.
So like,
I just didn't know like
we
legislationally.
would be, yes, we would be the majority there. They're very much into empowering women. They like, especially the Scandinavian countries, it's really huge there. They're just like, yeah, like a theist, actually, I was watching it on YouTube. Theist, pastor went over there and was asking people,
Oh, I know who you're talking about.
they're like, hey, do you believe in God? And, no. And he was like, what? And they're like, no, why would I?
Religious people are not like our religious people. Like, my grandma's from Switzerland, and she said that when she came over here, one of the first things that she noticed was, wow, these people really love their Bibles and their Jesus and everything. It's like, it's just not like that over there. Like, yeah, they're like Christian, but it's more cultural. Here, it's like, Jesus Christ, hallelujah, praise Jesus. People be falling backwards and shit.
Well, there's also a lot of the problems that we have here with gay rights. This is in my own personal experience. I have a gay brother, all right, and my stepdad is a total homophobe. His father, all right, he's my half brother. It's his father. And when I asked him, I was like, "What is your problem? Why? Why are you so anti-gay?" And he was like, "Well, I don't have a problem with gay men. It's when they start bringing kids into it." So he has the misconception that homosexuals are pedophiles.
Whoa.
Bro, like, look at the Catholic Church. Like,
He's 60. This is a 60-year-old man who has grown up Catholic.
See you guys.
Assalamu alaikum.
Yeah. All that. It's like Islamic. But no, like it's real. Like that, and think about why we have Ask an Atheist Day. It's because of the misconceptions that are about us.
Christians.
Huh?
You want to impress Christians.
Yeah, that's
Spread our secular
And we want
agenda.
to convert Christians, which many people think.
No, I just really want to listen to how they personally found Jesus.
Well, I mean that's mostly.
Well, he was in a bag of Doritos one time and he looked like him. He was
What was the video?
Yeah, did you guys hear about the goldfish?
No.
Goldfish cracker?
So
It's got a little cross on it. She knew it was talking to her.
I mean, like, yeah,
Real.
Okay.
It was on YouTube. I was watching it. It was
So God put the cross
hilarious.
on her goldfish, made sure she picked up.
She's like, I eat pounds and pounds of goldfish a week, which like, that's
very healthy.
goldfish brain food, But I'm just like, she's like, I eat pounds of them, and none of them have ever looked like this. And he's got that smile.
But you know what?
Well, if you eat pounds and pounds a day, you're bound to.
It's a week, pounds and pounds a week.
But you know what? There's some mental illness to attribute to that too, bro. Because like a lot of the people who are very religious also have like mental illness, and that's also a big issue.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like people who have like, I don't know, schizophrenia or
Right.
I don't know, grandiose delusion disorder. So many things. It's like the religion just, it's like, man, like it pulls them in, and
Yeah.
it makes their problems worse.
I got a 9-year-old, and I guarantee you give her an ice cream cone, she'll believe whatever you say.
Shame.
So
Well, no,
Christianity, this is some of the verses,
college students.
in both the Quran and the Bible, and it basically says that no homosexual sex, and homosexuality is abominations, and also abominations like wearing these fabrics, eating shrimp. So I guess most people are going to hell, including like Pelosi and all.
I don't know anybody goes to heaven.
Yeah, I know, right? Except for the Westboro Baptist Church, because they're the real Christians.
Jesus.
I'm pretty sure.
They're fucking dumb. But the Quran, they basically, the way that they're homophobic is in the Quran, there's like a story that's like similar to the story shared in the Old Testament, and Allah destroys a country or whatever because they're engaging in obscene behavior, which included rampant homosexuality. So Allah doesn't like butt sex either, so.
What exactly is rampant homosexuality?
Like they're like.
Oh,
It's just an odd
Yeah.
adjective for that.
It's like what's that one guy, Ted Haggard? Was it the one
Oh,
guy?
yeah.
yeah,
It's
he's
like
got
it's
it.
like it's like getting a motel room times like 100 or something.
When people also say.
You ever see the movie Human Centipede?
I don't think so.
No, but I understand the idea behind it, which is why I
It's
haven't
like
seen
that,
it.
but everybody's standing up.
So they definitely don't like gay people. But that's okay because we're all like this.
I'm sorry, that was awful.
So how?
I'm totally pro gay sex. I mean, I don't want to have it myself, but you can have it all you want.
How would you solve the problems with religious fundamentalism?
The internet's helping.
Yeah, internet.
Well, in my, like, there's always gonna be that.
Well, you know the atheist or the devil.
I'm not saying we should kill people, but we should probably start removing warning labels off of
Said Chris Porter. Yes.
Just one-
Let's not. We're not gonna hunt the stupid. Let's let the stupid
How about we
kill
make
themselves.
Flint, Michigan is like a very religious place.
Make Flint, Michigan a very religious place.
No, the water.
You're already fucked up, man.
The water. Yeah, make that holy water.
time for cooling.
This is holy water. Why is it brown?
Don't worry about it.
Well, you
That's the holiness.
That's,
Yeah.
that's just.
God's
Extra holy.
God wanted it to be.
Came from my ass holy.
My man right there.
Most people, they believe these things from way back, and it's really ingrained in them, so we gotta understand that,
And you guys, I'm sorry. Video, someone just fell in their seat.
Falling off the chair. It's fine. I think
That's
we're
God
doing
telling you something.
Man,
Anyway, you were saying.
so we gotta be sensitive to our rights, like when it comes to people, and if they're trying to spread these views, we can rationalize with them as much as we can, but we gotta make sure that we're not, throwing things about what we do.
Yeah. 'Cause I remember when I was completely ingrained in Catholicism, I would never have doubted it. If someone has rationalism, it's, no, you're wrong. Because I know, right? I believed it my whole life.
Yeah, he was
It's a really good point.
The way that I would, oh, I'm sorry.
This is a good part to suspect goes both ways, because like we kind of encountered that some people can be very disrespectful too, can be very
Oh, yeah.
religious.
I think that when it comes to religious fundamentalism, well, most people probably become fundamentalists because of brainwashing their children. You basically have to tell the public schools that you have to teach science and, teach children how to, or world works, I was doing a video called Black Atheists in the Hood, and like people were literally asking questions like, why does the sun come up in the morning, and why do we wake up, like basic biology and scientific questions, but since they're unable to understand the world around them, they just insert God. Easy ass answer, God, 3-letter word.
Out of the gaps.
Yeah. So I think education is a big one. Trying to get people to understand like logic, I would say, like teaching logic at an early age would be good, but that's just brainwashing in public schools is what Christians would say. Oh, and then also, when they're not killing each other, Christians and Muslims, they particularly hate atheists. In many Muslim countries, atheists are persecuted and often murdered, like in Bangladesh, there's bloggers that are killed. In Saudi Arabia, you get your head chopped off. It's like the Wu-Tang Clan song is not, it's like, when they say protect your neck, you really gotta protect your neck, if you know what I mean. And then also in the U.S., atheists are the most distrusted group in the country, but I've also seen that Muslims are sort of edging us out a little bit, so they might be number one in that category now. But there's a lot of distrust with atheists in the U.S. simply due to the fact that they associate atheism with godless communism, and we're apple pie, freedom of America, not no fucking pie. So That's probably. And that's a funny meme I saw on the internet. Because, you know, a lot of the Christians, they believe that when Jesus comes back from Mothership Bible, he's going to beam up all the Christians, and then that's that. And actually, I was in the Big Brothers Big Sisters program, and I don't know if I just told you this story. The guy was like, you know, a really big Christian, and he said, like, you know, have you found truth? And I was like, nah. He's like, well, it might be too late one day. And I was like, oh, the rapture's happening. Well, when that happens, make sure you take the Muslims with you. So, you know, take all the fucking crazy religious people on the Mothership Jesus and beam into, I don't know, Andromeda Galaxy or something. But they believe that. Like, his mom has a bumper sticker saying, in case of rapture, this car will be unmanned.
I feel like when you have that, you're not actually going.
Like, bruh.
I'm sure there's something in the Bible that's like against being cocky about it.
My other car's a Pope
Oh,
mobile.
there's plenty.
Yeah, it's actually.
Will religious fundamentalism survive the 21st century? I say no.
Yeah. Religious and
yeah,
general.
I think in Western
countries.
countries, I think because of the internet, and that, you know, the more and more, you know, like this generation and then the next generation after that, due to the internet, you know, you're going to see a lot less hyper-religiosity throughout the world or whatever. Any thoughts and opinions?
I think it'll go down, but it'll survive for sure. I don't think it'll go away completely, especially the fundamentalism part, because that's exactly what it is. You're just holding to this truth and ignoring everything else.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, we talk about this a lot in my genocide classes, the internet,
Wow.
yeah.
Class on
How
the
to?
side.
Really?
No.
No, not a how to.
But, it's a special topics class, but anyways, we talk about the internet a lot and how it actually, like, does the opposite of enlightening people because you just focus on what you believe in personally, and it just further, like, confirms your own general opinions about things to the point where you're not afraid to take it outside because you know there's more people who believe that.
I can bounce on top of that, but it's like when you're like Christian and you're thinking about like how much you love God and stuff, you don't go on and Google like arguments against Christianity. You Google arguments for Christianity, and you're always on the Christian-based sites.
True.
So you always see your point of view gets confirmed. It's that self-confirmation bias where you only look for things that.
YouTube is pretty much dominated by atheists.
It is, but like if you, what he's talking about is actual sites where you can go, because I did a lot of research for this, obviously, because it meant something to me. So I was looking for reasons to believe because I wanted to be a part of my family. You know, like if I was given the choice right now, I would take away skepticism in my life because it'd be easier for me to live without skepticism.
Exactly. It's easier
But-
being a sheep than a wolf.
For sure. Or even a shepherd, for that matter.
Yeah.
But the idea. But I mean, we don't eat Christians. Contrary to popular belief. Yeah, once they hit 3, they're too chewy. But
They use Mary.
yeah. But I was looking for them, and every time I would ask the questions like, all right, why is this? They were nonsensical answers. So the people that are looking at it aren't looking at it through constructive criticism. They're not actually taking into consideration any of the assertions that they're making. They're just assertions, and they're like, oh, okay, well that, that makes sense, and it's pseudo-logical. They seem to make sense, but they're circular arguments because they start off with a premise that God is real, and then they work their argument around the premise that God is real.
Well, God's not dead.
How did he die? Like, how would he die if he was never alive?
Well, he's not dead to begin with.
Oh.
According to that one
I'm confused.
I was gonna say, I think it's a movie.
An argument. I'm sorry. I'm not sure.
No, you're good. But no, it won't. I mean, it's gonna be there. It's never going anywhere.
But in countries like Iran, where the population is very young, and when they're actually given some freedom and access to the outside world, a lot of the younger people are turning away from religion. Like, I know people from Saudi Arabia and Iran who are both, they're atheists or not religious, and it's like, they don't believe it because, hey, look, we come to America and it's just like, yeah. You know?
For all the problems, we do have freedom, you know, like, we do have some, you know, freedom in this country for all the problems that we have.
We have issues, but, you know, hey, at least women can drive to the store. And get groceries.
Wait, what?
Us.
Not in my house.
What happened to this country?
Yeah. But, yeah.
Driving, women driving.
What preposterous idea. Anything else you'd like to discuss? Bro, this is like,
That was, I mean,
That's a loaded question.
yeah.
in terms of like human rights, what was some, because there's so much stuff like when I made this presentation that it's like, oh my God, like, there's so many things that religion does that impacts people's like, you know, rights as a human being to a point where it's like, you know, I don't know how to condense this to whatever.
Well, no, in terms of human rights, I think the death of dignity is a human rights issue because the people who are opposing it are very religious people.
Why would you want to, well, suicide, that's,
Well, it's like, you know,
They'll
like,
send
you
you
don't
to hell.
even realize this
They'll
is
go to
really
hell.
strict parameters, like you have to use them 6 months and
but if you blow yourself up, you're good to go.
And it's like for you to say that you can't let that person decide if they want to take the burden on themselves and they're going to die like a terrible death, then that just seems so unchristian-like to you.
Well, I mean, Christian, like, what does that mean?
Yeah, that's what I was
gonna say.
Christians are like fucked up.
No
Right.
true quick Christian would want to kill themselves if they were terminally ill.
You know,
I don't know.
you
I
can't,
don't know anymore.
you can't get to 72 verses if
After
you
reading,
know,
like-
you don't blow up some shit.
If you read the Bible, you will not know what they actually stand for.
There's so many like, what is that, like, contradictions.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Left and right. I mean, the moon's a light source. No, it's not. It's like,
It's a reflector.
It's a reflects light off the sun.
And the
It's like,
earth is flat with a dome over it that you
it's
call the
just
sky.
fucking crazy. It's crazy. It's just crazy.
Skulls, those Latin skulls.
Yeah.
But hey, you know,
Well, I'll never forget about my
Very
EMT, when I was in high school and doing my EMT, and he actually said, because he's a nurse and an EMT, he said that he had a person who was fired in his department because someone was coding at the ambulance and she just got downstairs praying. And she's a brand new, like, person who got hired on there and she was just gone. Because they were like, regardless of anyone's faith, we can't have somebody who starts praying over this person who's dying.
well, you know, like in, there's a lot of faith healing going on. Like, you know, a lot of kids will die because their parents won't take them to the hospital. And like, that's something else I want to cover. There's just so much shit. It's like, you know, between
Does
like,
anybody see the irony that the Pope rides in a fucking armored car?
yeah.
Oh, I don't
Like
think
there's
irony.
faith healing and all this prayer, and it's like, well, we can't protect him with it.
And like, have you heard about like those like therapeutic or like those like the holistic approach to like seeing God and everything, where like you sit in like an overly heated sauna for like 2 days
or
and starve yourself to
alternative-
see God? I'm
What is
like,
that? What is that called?
the fuck is
Alternative
this? Like,
medicine or
We
something
start
like
seeing
that?
anything.
like you'll start seeing anything in there.
Yeah, like if it works, then it's just medicine. If it's not,
I can get you there faster.
duty, like bullshit.
You want to see shit? I'll let you boy.
There was a study I found about a year ago when I was doing my psychology presentation for last year, where I think it was Pew. They did a big study across the country of praying for people in hospitals, and they had the group of people who were sick that they told they were going to be prayed for, group of people that they told were going to be prayed for but didn't, and then control group. The people that were prayed for and knew they were being prayed for did worse than the people who weren't prayed for, the control group. It was kind of funny. It's just a correlation.
Yeah,
Odds are it's just the
every
thinking
time
that I
I-
have to be prayed for makes me get worse. But either way, it proves that it wasn't actually making me get better.
Yeah, every time they do that, every time they do the prayer to miracle, like,
It's bullshit.
ratio, it is no more than random chance.
Go Google Peter Popoff. Bro, he's literally having people like in like what are those things like the walkers or whatever, and then he taps them on the head and then another like breakdancing. Shit you fucking not. Google Peter Popoff's most insane moments, and he's like, yeah, I was addicted to crack and you know, I listened to Peter Popoff, I sent him this little money and you know, and then in the mail I got like $30,000 out, all my shit paid off, and it's just like, it's so fucking it's like he's throwing people's canes or dancing. Hallelujah! He's like this person who couldn't even fucking walk a second ago. Now they're like, and it's just like, but people believe that shit, man. You know, but,
As soon as I looked him up, it said Peter Pavlov is a German-born American televangelist, fraudulent faith healer, and self-proclaimed.
but the thing is, like, you know, when people say, oh, he's a fraud, like when Christians say he's a fraud, well, it's like, what's the difference between him and someone saying that when you die, you get to go to heaven where there's Hawaiian punch water fountains? It's like, you know, yeah, it sounds pretty good, but, you know, it's like, what's the difference between that? Like, you know, with, let's say,
But that's realistic, like, I can see that. You know, they promise crazy shit.
you know, you ever watch the movie Down to Earth with Chris Rock? That's why I sort of think.
Man, a long time ago.
Yeah. But yeah, I think that's it for the presentation.
Thank you.